Hey there, A's Day fans. Happy Tuesday. We are back from sunny San Diego. I'm your host, Joe Grotto. Hope you all had a wonderful weekend. Hope you all enjoyed the Memorial Day holiday. We hope you took the time to remember those who made the ultimate sacrifice to defend our freedoms and to be able to enjoy the celebrations that we all got to participate in on this lovely holiday weekend. Today is Tuesday, May 26th. We got a good show for you, a little bit different of a format. We were out on the road driving back from San Diego up to Northern California, so we were unable to meet at our regularly scheduled time, but good news, we are back behind the mic today, and we are going to first kick off today's show recapping our San Diego experience, discussing our hosted stay, our experience being a part of the Gaslamp Quarter, the downtown section of San Diego, including our experience at the A's Padres game this past Saturday, which included meeting 5 A's players, and one of those, that's right, we got to meet the Big Amish Nick Kurtz. You'll be able to hear our experience there, as well as when you can expect to hear our brief interview clips with each of those 5 A's. Rather exciting. And then from there, we are going to recap what went down as the A's are back home in West Sacramento. First game of the series against the Seattle Mariners is underway. Did not go according to plan as the A's dropped Game 1 last night, 9-2. They lose Aaron Civale in the process. We'll discuss his most likely journey headed to the injured list. But we will be sure to end on a more positive note as we are going to preview the remainder of the 2 games in this 3-game set, as well as the A's calling up their number 3 prospect, left-handed pitcher, Gage Jump. Let's get to it. Holy Toledo. Let's go A's. There, A's Day fans. Thank you once again for tuning in to our Tuesday show. We are excited to be back behind the mic from our content trip down in San Diego. With that, let's jump right into how it all went down. So we were fortunate at the final hour to be able to put together a content trip to be able to experience a weekend in San Diego. We were down there for 3 nights. We drove down after work. Got there in the wee hours of Saturday morning. Stayed at the Andaz San Diego by Hyatt. Want to shout them out. Want to shout out Kimmy. Thank you so much for coordinating our hosted stays. They were so generous and hospitable to offer us a discounted rate for Friday night, a media rate, and then comped our stay for Saturday and Sunday in exchange for us capturing content of them highlighting their hotel as a destination to stay during your next visit in San Diego, which we will be posting tomorrow. So be sure to check out our social media platforms as well as our YouTube channel. We'll be sure to display the wonderful 4-star experience that we were treated to. And upon entry, so on arrival, they do have valet parking offering. It's offered at $75 per night. Again, thankfully, as part of our hosted stay, they took care of it. They were very generous. Can't thank them enough. Can't thank Kimmy enough for her hospitality. She was very helpful and very efficient in our communication and made sure our stay was set up exactly to what we needed. And so they were very efficient with the valet service. They drop off the key right there at the front desk, or at the desk right in front of the front door that leads to the lobby. And they're rather efficient with their valet parking system. So whenever we would be coming and going and we need to drive to some part of San Diego, they had our car waiting for us at the front every time by the time we were exiting out the lobby door. So they were very efficient, very warm with their service, and appreciate them very much, and ensuring that we had our mode of transportation whenever needed. So wanted to touch upon that. And then as soon as you enter the hotel, it's a lap of luxury. The way they have everything laid out in there, it just has a scent of cleanliness, and everything is laid out so elegantly. You could tell with the marble fixture throughout, and they do even have some art displaying their fandom of the San Diego Padres in the corner. You'll be able to see what we mean when we post those pictures. But it was really, especially coming in at that hour, we knew it was going to be nice, but we just couldn't believe how nice, because pictures truly don't do it justice from our research, and we're going to do our best to highlight it just because that's how nice of a place it was. It certainly, we knew it was going to be a luxurious stay, but it even exceeded our expectations. We get into the room. We were able to stay on the 5th floor, have a very nice view of downtown San Diego, and you can even see the upper deck of Petco Park, home of the San Diego Padres, from the room. So that was a nice little tidbit there. But you enter the room, and the room is laid out very well, like a luxury studio, a very sizable TV, a very comfortable California king bed. And again, the room had the utmost level of cleanliness. Service staff was efficient daily, changing our towels, providing upkeep to the room to make sure it felt like we just first checked in. So I want to thank them for their services. And the bathroom, we can't get over how cool the shower setup in there. It's a massive part of the room, first of all. But second, the toilet area is separate from the shower area, which is nice. And in the shower, it's a glass wall with marble on the sides, and it has 2 shower heads. So you can have a shower over your head, but then hitting your back at the same time with some warm water. Definitely a nice way to unwind after a fun, exciting day in San Diego. So we love the room. Could not recommend it more. The location of it is impeccable. It's right in the heart of all the downtown action. You want to grab a drink, there are numerous bars within walking distance. And of course, we are a baseball podcast, and we know here on this platform for A's fans, the A's are going to be traveling down to San Diego every other year. So perhaps you're going to be looking ahead to schedule your future San Diego trip to see the A's in action. Could not recommend it more. Staying at this hotel, the Andaz San Diego by Hyatt. It's a 10-minute walk from the hotels, from the lobby to the steps of Petco Park. You go out, make a left out of the door, make a right onto 7th Avenue. It's a few blocks down. It's very easy to get to. You have places to eat on your way. You get to see and really feel the sense of what the city of San Diego is all about. So can't recommend that stay enough. And then during your stay, if you want to grab a drink or some food at the Rooftop by Steak, which is on the top floor, they have a nice heated pool that overlooks the city as well. They have some seating up there. They have a full bar service. And then it looked like there was some private seats and dining in the back, as well as some giant table games. So there's something for everyone up there. And that was a really cool spot. Again, you'll be able to see photos from up there and video rather shortly on our social media pages and YouTube channel. But wow, I mean, we were really immersed in a luxurious stay in San Diego, right in the heart of all the action. You couldn't ask for a better stay. So if you're looking for somewhere, if you want to be in the Gaslamp Quarter, if you're going to spend the majority of your time downtown, if you're going to check out a Padres game or two, could not recommend more. Stay at the Andaz San Diego by Hyatt. You will not be disappointed. So then from there, we checked in really late, and then we got up the next morning, Saturday, and headed to Coronado Beach, which is a 15-minute drive from the hotel. Again, another reason that you're going to want to stay at this hotel in San Diego. If you want to be in a spot where you want some beach time, but again, you want to spend a lot of time downtown as well, you're going to want to stay on the downtown side, because if you're on the San Diego mainland side, you are going to have to drive to the beach area no matter what. And it was very easy. It was about 3 miles, 4 miles, something like that, to the main beach area. And there is plenty of street parking, and we do recommend getting there early in the day, because parking does fill up as the day goes on, as you would expect. There is a nice little downtown in there in Coronado. Shout out Henry's. We grabbed some lunch there to go and ate on the beach. They have a wonderful assortment of menu items. So if you're in Coronado, check it out. You won't be disappointed. There's something for everyone there. And then we get to Coronado Beach. We got to the main beach where the famous resort is overlooking the ocean. I think it's the Del Mar or the Del Coronado. And we were pleasantly surprised that in the midst of a holiday weekend, the beach was not packed at all. It was rather quiet. It was very peaceful. The sun was out. It was the perfect weather on Saturday. We got to spend a few hours there and really unwind. So highly recommend heading out to the main Coronado Beach. You'll definitely be able to have that beach experience without the hustle and bustle of super major crowds. Now, maybe that'll change as summer really kicks into gear, but at least for this weekend, that's how it was for us. Get back from the beach, we change, then walk on down to the ballpark. And we had an opportunity to secure some batting practice on-field passes. Want to shout out and thank Tiffany from the Padres so much for coordinating that with us. It was a very easy check-in process. We checked in front of the Diamond Club. We received our passes and were escorted into the field. And it was just a cool opportunity to have our feet perched on another major league field. We keep adding those to our list. Petco Park is beautiful. It's one of the most wonderful structures in the whole league. And you can see why fans come in droves and in abundance. And in fact, they've sold out just about 80% of their home games to date thus far. The Padres faithful are very behind their team, and it's because they are also treated to a wonderful game day experience. So we're out in the field from 4 o'clock to about 5:40. Neither team took on-field batting practice. That typically will happen sometimes in the middle of a 3-game series. But nevertheless, players from both teams were out in the field, and we were placed on the third base side, which was the Athletics dugout. And originally we were scheduled to be on the Padres side first, but there was a combination. There's a large crowd over there, but not a ton of Padres players were out as well. So we figured to just hang out on the A side and see those guys coming and going. And we saw a lot of the pitchers get their work, but then the position players started to make their way and get their defensive early work and some ground balls, all of that good stuff. And wow, we were treated to such an experience. They all walked out in front of us and they were doing their thing, interacting with the fans. And we had the opportunity to meet and interact with 5 A's players. And we are going to be posting our interview clips, again, social media, YouTube. And we're also going to have the audio version available tomorrow. We'll highlight that at the end of today's show. But for all 5 of the A's we met, we got to meet A's ace, Luis Severino. We met Hogan Harris, we met Zach Geloff, we met Luis Medina, and we met the Big Amish himself, Nick Kurtz. We got to ask each of them a couple of quick questions. They were all very nice with their time, appreciate them, and it just keeps honing in my fact that this is a good group of guys that really does care about the overall nature of doing things the right way, but also treating the fans with absolute respect and hospitality as well. So that was exciting to see, and really that was amazing. I mean, I was kind of overwhelmed at a point in a great way. Just couldn't believe that we were treated to this wonderful experience and getting to chat up these guys just to get a little bit of a feeler how things are going in the season thus far. Everyone was just had a great personality speaking with them. So excited to share those tidbits with you. And we got to touch upon, especially with Nick Kurtz, who's still in the midst of his on-base streak, just speaking to how he's had a knack for getting on base from his younger days playing all the way up until now. So appreciate his time and all of the A's that stopped by with us. There were a good amount of A's fans in attendance. So there were some other players that stopped that we didn't get a chance to speak to, but appreciate all of their time. And if any of those guys are listening, if you would love to come on to A's Day and speak at further length, whether via Zoom or at our future dates that we are planning on being at Sutter Health Park, would love to advance our conversation so that we could bring that conversation to you, the lovely audience. All A's players are always welcome, always down to talk some baseball. So, carrying on with our overall experience, we get to our seat. We're sitting in section 122, which is down the left field line. There doesn't seem to be a bad seat in that ballpark, and they really pack it in by first pitch, and they are in it from pitch 1 all the way until that final out is recorded. In this one, wasn't really a whole lot to talk about on Saturday in terms from the A's, but the Padres didn't really hit much in this one either. JT Ginn got the start going up against Lucas Giolito, and Ginn, unfortunately, just coming off of that emotional roller coaster of his last start where he lost his no-hit bid in Anaheim in the 9th inning and lost the game. those type of starts can be so emotionally taxing that typically that next time out doesn't usually fare well for that starter. I've seen that through so many games of baseball past. That unfortunately reared its ugly head in this one. He only lasted 2 1/3 innings. He walked 5 batters, hit a batter. In fact, he walked in a run. And the Padres only got one more from there, but that's all they needed. The A's did have some early offensive opportunities, but just did not cash in against Lucas Giolito. And it did seem like Giolito, who was signed earlier in May, is still trying to find his long-term legs in terms of stamina in a game. It seemed like he was starting to fade in that 5th inning. His secondary pitches were not locating nearly as well, but the A's sort of let him off the hook. And then the Padres turned to that bullpen, which is an absolute weapon. And it's really fearsome to see if that Padres team gets into the postseason. Whoever fares up against them, if they don't get a lead early on them, they are going to be a tough out. I know the Padres haven't really hit it well this year thus far, including Fernando Tatis Jr., who is still not homered on the year at the time of recording. They are still doing it with their pitching and defense, so they do have the important elements of a championship team. If they can get the offense rolling just a little bit more, they could be a team to watch in the back half and through October, perhaps. But Padres won 2-0. Mason Miller came in and got his first save against his old team in the A's. Man, that was some electric stuff. I mean, he just came in and blew the doors off the 2 hitters, got McNeil to ground out to end the game, and it just was it wasn't fun to see because it was obviously, as a baseball fan, you love seeing how free and effortlessly the ball just comes flying out of Miller's hand. But obviously, with it being at the expense of the A's, it's not what you want. But all in all, it was a great game day experience for us. Everyone was pretty, like I said, into the game, and it seemed like that everyone is warm and welcoming in that environment. You have ballpark eats all over, anything you may drink. I think they have one of the best concession offerings across Major League Baseball. You get your traditional Fryer Franks, but then also you can get your tri-tip tacos, you can get fish tacos, you can get your tri-tip nachos, you can get any drink, you can get an assortment of margaritas. They've got everything you can ask for and then some. It's truly a wonderful game day experience. And then in that warehouse you see in left field underneath, there is a shrine of plaques. I believe it's to the Padres Hall of Fame. And you can take a trip down memory lane and see all of the legends that donned Padres uniforms in the past. And you got to see shrines to legends like Tony Gwynn, like Tony Gwynn and Trevor Hoffman. It was really an absolute delight for a baseball adventure, without a doubt. So if you're thinking of heading on out to Petco Park to check out a Padres game, highly recommend it. Go do that as soon as possible. You will not be disappointed. And then at the conclusion of the game, they had a fireworks show, which was rather nice. You can see it from downtown as well. People in the streets were stopping to watch. Really seemed like an all-inclusive type community celebration, especially after the Padres won the game. So from there, we walked back to the hotel. You could see the nightlife of the Gaslamp Quarter in full swing. We'll be sure to highlight some places that you could check out if you want to grab a drink after the game. We had such a long day that we decided that we wanted to go out the following evening, so we headed back to the hotel to get some rest and recoup for the next day. So just want to highlight some other attractions that you can check out while you're in town in case you're planning for, if it's not even an A's game, if you're looking to go down separately, maybe this summer or sometime. But if you are looking ahead to when the A's are most likely back down there, or when they are back down there in 2028, here's some other attractions you could check out. So you can also check out the San Diego Zoo, which is home to the most animals of any zoo in the country. And we spent about four to 5 hours there. It's very well laid out, and you could see a little bit of everything. Our favorites were the orangutans. They were very active at the time of our visit, but then also the koalas. You don't see that at every zoo. There were a ton of them. So a lot of them were sleeping. Typically, most of them will spend 18 to 22 hours per day sleeping, but there were a couple that were up and about, so that was cool, a unique sight to see. But there definitely are activities for people of all the family, for everyone in the family. It's definitely a family-friendly environment. You won't be disappointed checking that out. We also headed on out to Balboa Park, which is a nice place to have a nice active day. If you want to walk through the extensive, numerous mile park, it leads to a variety of museums like the San Diego Institute of Art. You can also check out the Museum of Us, which is home to the famous tower, which you've probably seen a lot of pictures of Balboa Park. They do have guided tours or personal walking tours where you can walk up to the top of the tower and see sights of downtown San Diego. You can check out numerous among other cultural museums on site as well. That's definitely a famous spot that you're going to want to check out and see. And then we were treated later in the day to a hosted dinner, and we're not aware of how extensive the nightlife was already going to be happening at around 6:30 on a Sunday night. I guess the Memorial Day holiday weekend helped, and it was shortly after the Padres home game. The A's did win on Sunday 5-2, and you could see the fanfare trickle into the bars and restaurants right downtown. They treated us to a wonderful array of drinks, appetizers, meals. We can't thank them enough. We're going to create a post on our social media and YouTube of our experience at El Chignon, San Diego, as well, located downtown San Diego. They have multiple locations, but we want to thank Will and Regina for setting up our visit on Sunday. That was a wonderful experience without a doubt. We loved San Diego. It was just so funny that we talk about sunny San Diego. It was like that on Saturday, but Sunday and Monday was completely overcast. And we couldn't believe that that was going to be the case. And in fact, the weather barely creeped to the 70-degree mark on those back half days. I think Saturday was 73. But typically, San Diego is like 80 degrees all year round during the day, around 70 at night. It just seems like that happens to some of the places that we end up at. But nevertheless, we always make the most of our wonderful weekend adventures. So we want to thank all the partners that supported our San Diego content trip experience. We had a wonderful time, a 3-night stay in Southern California. San Diego is a top destination. It's always been one of my favorite places to visit in the world, and getting to go back there this weekend can understand why. Again, it reignited those feelings, and already can't wait to get back down there sometime. So I hope listening to our experience perhaps motivated you to want to personally take a trip to San Diego. I know it's one of my favorite places I've ever been to. And if you've never been, it's going to be an experience like no other. You get that city feel, but you also get the beach adventure. You get those water activities. It is the craft beer capital of the world as well. And there's so many attractions for everyone in the family. And if you are a baseball fan listening to this, Petco Park is one of the best baseball experiences that you will have in Major League Baseball. I will sign my name to that and then some. So hope you enjoyed reliving that experience with us. I know I personally enjoyed delving into that. Hopefully, if any A's fans that are listening to us that take a trip down to San Diego, let me know your thoughts and if you had a similar experience yourself. All right, from there, let's get back to some business as usual, as we are actually going to recap what went down in West Sacramento last night as the A's welcomed in the Seattle Mariners for the first of 3. Bryce Miller will be getting the ball for the Mariners, going up against Aaron Civale. We won't spend too much time here. Not much good to speak of here, at least from the A's perspective. After 2 scoreless, Seattle would put together a 6-run third inning thanks to an RBI fielder's choice by Josh Naylor, an RBI double by Randy Arozarena, a 2-run home run by Luke Raley, and a Dominic Canzone 2-run home run. It's 6-0 Mariners. J.P. Crawford added a solo home run in the 4th to go up 7-0. Aaron Civale would work through the 4th, and that would end his night. Civale went 4 innings, 9 hits allowed, 7 runs, 1 walk, 2 Ks, 3 homers, his worst start to date. We'll have more news on him later. In the 8th, the A's would finally get on the board against Bryce Miller, who was masterful in this one, piggybacking Luis Castillo, who pitched a scoreless first 4. Shea Langoliers hits his 13th home run of the year to dead center field. It's now 7-1. In the 9th, Randy Arozarena would hit a 2-run home run. The Mariners' 4th of the game. It's now 9-1. A's would get one to the bottom half, but far from enough. Ball game over. Mariners win this one 9-2. So tough outing again for Aaron Civale, coming off back-to-back bad outings. And we're going to have a little bit more on perhaps why this has been occurring. He's most likely, unfortunately, headed to the injured list, we learned after the game when the media was talking to manager Mark Kotze. He gave his thoughts. They couldn't exactly pinpoint the issue. We're going to talk about that in a few moments. In this one, not a lot of good to look at, but one of the bright shining stars in this one was Jack Perkins, who came in after Civale. He covered 4 2/3 innings in this one, allowed 3 hits, 2 runs, being the 2-run home run he allowed in the eighth to Arozarena. He didn't walk anybody, and he struck out 7. And those innings were really important, especially in the first game of a series, especially in a game where it does seem like it's out of hand. You don't want to burn your higher leverage relievers in this one in case you need them in games later on in tonight and tomorrow's game, where it might be more of a situation where you have an opportunity to win a baseball game. And with the long nature of a 162 game schedule, nights like this often get overlooked, but this we wanted to make sure we touched upon it. These are 4 2/3 of important innings from Jack Perkins, especially if the A's come back and win this series. They didn't have to go into arm after arm in this one to get through it, especially in the game, like I said, after that 3rd inning on. It really did seem like the Seattle Mariners were in full control. Another positive note here, Nick Kurtz, he continues his on-base streak. In fact, he tied the franchise record last night with his walk. He ties the franchise record of 48 consecutive games getting on base with Mark McGwire, who has the record. Tune in tonight to see if he sets the new franchise mark. So that's really, it was an ugly game, and the A's now drop to 1-4 when returning home from a road series. Hopefully they are able to continue that trend of bouncing back and having much stronger performances in the latter games of the series. This episode is brought to you by Andaz San Diego. Explore downtown San Diego from our boutique Gaslamp District Hotel. Overlooking downtown, Andaz San Diego offers contemporary living spaces epitomizing Californian cool. Opened in 1913 for the World's Fair, celebrating the Panama Canal, this historic building is a half-mile from Petco Park. Our boutique hotel is surrounded by vibrant nightlife, upscale dining, and popular attractions. Experience one of San Diego's finest hotels and the Gaslamp Quarter's largest rooftop, featuring a restaurant, bar, and pool. Come stay at the Andaz San Diego by Hyatt today. All right, let's get to our Seattle Mariners series preview, as we have 2 more games still to go, with first pitch scheduled tonight, 6:40 p.m. Pacific, and then we do have some daytime action tomorrow. We'll recap that in a second. Mariners come into tonight's action with a 26-29 record, again fresh off that 9-2 victory last night. They are led by manager Dan Wilson. Offensively, they rank offensively as follows. They are hitting .227 as a team batting average, which is 27th in baseball. They've hit 64 home runs, which is tied for 8th. They've scored 227 runs, which is 19th. They've walked 204 times, which is tied for 9th. They've struck out 487 times, which is the 7th highest mark in baseball. And they've hit to a .696 OPS, which is 18th. On the mound, this is where they have fared much better. They've pitched to a .363 team ERA, which is 7th. They've walked 142 batters, which is the least amount in baseball. They've struck out 472, which is 9th, and they've pitched to a .123 whip, which is 7th. And defensively, they've fielded it at a .988 fielding percentage, which is 10th, and they've made 24 errors, which is tied for 11th. This is how the Mariners' offense projects in terms of their starting lineup. This is the lineup that they put out last night. They will be led off by shortstop J.P. Crawford, followed by Julio Rodriguez batting second, playing center field. Batting third, the first baseman Josh Naylor. Batting fourth, the left fielder Randy Arozarena. Batting fifth, the right fielder Luke Raley. Batting sixth, the second baseman Cole Young. Batting seventh, the designated hitter Dominic Canzone. Batting eighth, the catcher filling in for the injured Kyle Raleigh, former A, Johnny Pareda. And batting ninth, the third baseman Colt Emerson. And here are the starting pitching matchups and the game times for the final 2 games of this 3-game series, which the Mariners currently lead 1-0. So tonight, again, first pitch, 6:40 p.m. Pacific time. Happy Sevy Day. Emerson Hancock will be getting the ball for the Mariners, going up against Luis Severino. And then tomorrow, the rubber match of this 3-game set will be a day game, 12:05 p.m. Pacific time, first pitch. Logan Gilbert getting the ball, going up against Jeffrey Springs. Now, let's talk about some scouting reports to get to know these starting pitchers that the A's hitters will be faring against in these next two. And this will sound probably a little bit familiar as we have gone over scouting reports in the last time these two teams met. But for those that didn't get a chance to listen then, this will be a nice new inkling. And for those that did, this will be a good refresher. So tonight's starter, right-handed pitcher Emerson Hancock. On the year thus far, he's made 10 starts, pitching to a 3-2 record with a 3.07 ERA. In 58 2/3 innings pitched, he's walked 13 batters, struck out 60, and has pitched to a 106 whip. In his last start, he won against the White Sox. He went 5 innings, allowed 5 hits, 2 runs, 3 walks, and 4 strikeouts. The last time that the A's faced off against Hancock, the A's won the game. And this was back on April 20th. He went 5 innings, allowed 7 hits, 3 runs. All of those came via the home run as he allowed 3 solo home runs, didn't walk anybody, struck out 3. On the year thus far, he's averaged 94.9 miles an hour on his fastball, and he works with a 5-pitch mix, a fastball, sweeper, sinker, cutter, and changeup. He's had a 26.2 K percentage thus far, which is ranked in the 74th percentile of all qualified pitchers, according to Baseball Savant. And he comes right after you and will attack the zone. He has worked to a 5.7 walk percentage, which is in the 89th percentile. Hancock has transformed into a high-impact MLB starter for the Mariners by adopting a new lower arm slot that created a dominant high-spin sinker and improved command. He has shown elite early 2026 form characterized by high strikeout games and a vastly improved mental approach. Hancock's sinker is his premier pitch, featuring significant movement and a low release angle that has stifled hitters. He combines this with a developed sweeper and a strong changeup. His fastball operates in the 92 to 94 mile an hour range with improved, flatter action that allows him to work at the top of the zone. His current success is attributed to adjustments in his arm angle, overcoming previous inconsistency and injury concerns. And as for tomorrow's daytime starter, right-handed pitcher Logan Gilbert, he is the team's ace. He has made 11 starts this year, pitching 2-4 to a 4.04 ERA. In 62 1/3 innings pitched, he's walked 14, struck out 63, and has pitched to a 1.11 whip. In his last start, got the win at Kansas City. He went 5 2/3, allowed 2 hits, no runs, 2 walks, and 6 Ks. In his last start against the A's on April 22nd, he got the no decision. The team did win the game. He went 4 innings, allowed 6 hits, 3 runs, 2 walks, and 3 Ks. His fastball thus far has averaged 95.3 miles an hour, and he works with a 6-pitch mix, a fastball, slider, splitter, curveball, cutter, and changeup. His walk percentage is 5.6, which is in the 91st percentile, and his K percentage of 27.8 is in the 77th percentile and has the best 7.6-foot extension in baseball. He is the opening day starter, functioning as an elite high workload ace with an evolving kitchen sink arsenal. He pairs a 94 to 98 mile an hour fastball with a high 6.2-foot release point and elite extension, utilizing a refined splitter and slider to generate high strikeout rates. He possesses above average control and elite command of the strike zone. Through this year, he has significantly improved his vertical approach angle, causing his fastball to look like it's dropping, leading to high swing and miss rates. He is known for a high-intensity, violent delivery with a massive leg kick. Now, let's take a look at how some A's hitters have fared in their history facing these two Mariners starters. So, in past meetings with Hancock, Tyler Soderstrom lifetime is 3 for 8 with a home run and a double. Langoliers is 2 for 7 with a home run. Brent Rooker is 2 for 4 with a home run. And Carlos Cortez is 2 for 2 with a home run himself. And against tomorrow's starter, Logan Gilbert, Shea Langoliers 3 for 23, but does have those 2 homers. Zach Geloff 2 for 6 with a home run. Jonah Heim 6 for 26 lifetime with a home run. And Tyler Soderstrom only 1 for 8, but that one was a home run. We are still going to make our A's Day home run prediction, as we are going to hopefully will this one into existence, because this guy's struggling early and it does seem like he's close. He's making some harder contact, but hopefully sees a couple more go through the hoops. We are going to predict, especially in past meetings, that he has homered against both of these starters. We're going to say that Tyler Soderstrom is going to homer in one of these next 2 games. And as for a series prediction, we had the Mariners winning this one initially. We want the good vibes to get back going for the green and gold. We want them to advance their lead in the American League West. We've seen, especially after researching, seeing how this offense has had success against both of these starters last month. And you are at your 1 and 2 in your rotation in Sevy and Springs. All reliables. Go get it done. Go protect your home park. A's are going to win the next 2 and take 2 out of 3. Despite how poorly last night went, we do feel this team has had that constant theme of dropping that first one and looking like a completely different product over the latter half. I do believe the inconsistencies of Seattle is going to rear its ugly head at some point. I think Sevy's got some good momentum coming off of his last start. He's making some good adjustments. We think he's going to have one of his best home starts of the season, perhaps in his A's career, and he's had some success against Seattle in the past. And then Jeffrey Springs, we do think is going to bring it home, while the A's offense, we think, is going to have some success against Logan Gilbert. We are going to say that after losing last night 9-2, they're going to come back and win tonight 5-2 before winning tomorrow's daytime rubber match 6-4. So hope you all enjoy the wonderful A's action tonight and tomorrow. Hopefully on Friday's show, our predictions come true. Let's get to a little bit of some negative news, as we hinted at this during our recap, that Aaron Civale is most likely headed to the injured list following his outing on Monday. So he just lasted 4 innings, giving up 7 runs on 9 hits and 1 walk, throwing 73 pitches in the process. After the game, Kurtz said Civale would be undergoing testing some point this morning and will most likely end up on the injured list. Neither Kurtz nor Civale was able to pinpoint the issue, but the injury appears related to either the pitcher's right shoulder or a lat. As for Civale's injury, the veteran said he noticed something was amiss during his previous outing against the Angels last Wednesday in Anaheim. He took a 2.70 ERA into his start at Angel Stadium, but allowed 5 runs in 5 innings with his fastball velocity down more than 1 mile an hour. That velo dip was far more noticeable on Monday in West Sacramento. Civale averaged just 88.3 miles an hour on his 4-seam fastball, 3 miles below his season average, and 88 miles an hour on his sinker, 3.2 miles per hour below his average. It was his lowest combined 4-seam sinker velocity in any game of his career. The lack of zip on his pitches cost him, as Civale allowed a home run on each of his 3 fastball types, a cutter to Luke Raley, a 4-seamer to Dominic Canzone, and a sinker to J.P. Crawford. Those first 2 dingers, both 2-run shots, came in a 6-run third for the Mariners. So, hate to see someone hit the injured list, but at least there is a reason to why all of a sudden Civale was not looking like the most reliable starter that he had prior to his start against the Angels. He got tagged for 5 in that start in Angel Stadium, and then gets tagged for 7 last night. You could see the velocity was down, and usually that's a sign that something is amiss. So we'll have a better idea and provide update on social media once we know more. But with it being perhaps a lat issue or a shoulder issue, nevertheless, those are usually worrisome injury spots, and I do expect that we'll probably be without Civale for quite some time. So hopefully he gets well soon, because when he is right, he works efficiently, he fills up the strike zone, and he gives his team an opportunity to win every time. I'm not going to even take into account what we've seen those last 2 times out, at least now knowing that there was something clearly holding him back, because he looked like a completely different pitcher than we had seen him pitch to that 2.70 ERA prior to these last 2 starts. So I know that's the starter that he's closer to than what we've seen. I do know sometimes hitters are going to make adjustments once more film is out there to see what your plan of attack is this year, because pitchers' plans do change from year to year, even if they are coming at you with the same repertoire. Pitchers do not want to become predictable, so obviously hitters are going to navigate their plan based on that. It's always a game of adjustments. But with the vast difference of outcome between what we had seen to what it is now, clearly something was not right with his body. So Aaron, hopefully you get well soon. Hopefully we see you back in the rotation sooner rather than later. But this is definitely a significant blow to a rotation that is already having its depth and reliability tested early, with Jacob Lopez still looking to figure out his consistency with his command, now having to navigate forward without Aaron Civale, and even earlier in the season not having the reliability of Luis Morales. He was supposed to be in this rotation. He's still trying to figure it out at AAA. Hasn't quite worked out with Mason Barnett as well, so the A's are still trying to put this puzzle together. And despite all of these questions that need to be answered, they are still at the top of the American League West at 27-27. So hopefully this is a tough issue to be able to navigate and to have brighter days ahead, that even at some low moments that the team can still have success. And with that, out of some bad news comes some rather exciting news. We are going to end the show off on a positive note. The A's plan to call up left-handed pitching prospect Gage Jump, with right-hander Aaron Civale expected to go on the injured list, as we had mentioned. Jump is the number 41 prospect on MLB Pipeline's top 100 prospects list and is the A's third-ranked prospect. In 9 starts at AAA Las Vegas this season, Jump is 0-2 with a 4.50 ERA, but has struck out 56 batters in 38 innings, along with 20 walks and 36 hits allowed. He went 9-7 with a 3.28 ERA and 131 strikeouts in 112 and 2/3 innings in 2025 in his first pro season, split between High A Lansing and Double A Midland. The A's are atop the AL West standings, but their pitching staff ranks in the bottom third in the majors in strikeout rate. The A's gave him an overslot $2 million bonus at the 73rd pick, and that paid off with a big 2025. Jump through that 112 and 2/3 innings with his velocity spiking almost 2 miles an hour, which helped firm up his above-average slider and curveball. His fastball remains his best pitch, sitting 93 to 96 miles an hour and touching 97 miles an hour with plus shape. Jump, who was the 73rd overall pick in the 2024 draft, is part of what's shaping up to be a very interesting draft class, with Travis Bazzana from the Guardians, who was the first overall pick, Chase Burns from the Reds, who was number 2, Nick Kurtz, Jump's teammate, was the number 4 pick, Jack Caglione from the Royals was the number 6 pick, J.J. Weatherholt from the Cardinals was number 7, Christian Moore from the Angels was number 8, Connor Griffin from the Pirates was number 9, Cam Smith, who was drafted by the Cubs, is now a member of the Astros, was number 14. Carson Benj from the Mets, number 19, and Trey Savage from the Blue Jays, number 20, are all currently on active Major League rosters. So talk about quick, efficient, upwards professional development. Jump has shown a diverse pitch mix with Las Vegas. He's leaned on the four-seamer more than half the time, but has also thrown plenty of sliders 18.3% of the time and curveballs 13.1%. Jump has also used both a sweeper and a changeup more than 5% of the time. Control has been a bit of an issue, as Jump's 11.8 walk percentage rate is a significant increase from last year's mark. The workload for Jump had been a bit limited to begin the year. He hadn't completed 5 innings with the Aviators through 8 appearances. Jump went 7 strong innings in his last start, striking out 9 without issuing a walk. He most likely is going to step into a rotation that doesn't have much stability right now outside of Luis Severino and Jeffrey Springs. So with the IL stint to Civale, we do believe that this is going to open up a rotation spot. So very excited for this moment, and obviously it comes off the back of some bad news, but this is the continuation of ushering in a new era of A's baseball. The next young star is here, left-handed pitcher Gage Jump. Very excited from what we saw at the minor league level last year. Yes, the command has been a little bit of an issue this year thus far, but in his latest start, it looked like he had it all figured out. The strikeout stuff was working. He didn't walk a batter. I think that is some good momentum and good timing to bring up a young starter in Jump. I think he's going to have an instant impact. I think it's just going to be interesting to see how he adjusts to Major League pitching. We saw him have some success in spring training during Cactus League action, but you saw those walks come a little bit, and you saw him start to nibble with 2 strikes. So in regular season action, when guys have more of their timing down now, it's going to be a completely different animal, especially with the immense crowds. We're excited to see when Gage Jump is officially deployed, as currently it has been announced that he's been called up, but the move hasn't been officially made, so they haven't even stated when Gage Jump would be making his Major League debut officially. But he'll be on the roster today, especially once the news from Civale of him hitting the injured list. It's probably going to happen sometime this afternoon. Very excited to see what Gage Jump brings to this rotation that is definitely begging for answers, with a part of the group that once again I feel is holding this team back. And I know the offense hasn't been consistent, but at least you could see at times that you could see the offense being able to provide that production. They're still in the top half of overall offensive rankings. The defense, while it's been middling up and down for the last couple of weeks, all in all has been improved collectively. It's been the pitching that continues to try to find its footing as they're in the lower half of rankings once again. And now another blow to the rotation with Civale, scheduled to miss some time. Hopefully you get a nice little spark from an exciting prospect that I think is going to be a long-term answer in this A's rotation, along with JT Ginn, who, aside from his last start, I think has had a very fine start to the 2026 season. So get excited. Another young A is here in West Sacramento. Looking forward to seeing him make his Major League debut, most likely within the week. And with that brings us to the close of another edition of A's Day. Appreciate you all stopping by. Hope you enjoyed us reliving our San Diego experience, and hopefully I convince you to take a trip to San Diego either now or when the A's are down there in 2028. Whenever you do, you will not be disappointed. And we went ahead and previewed what to expect the remainder of the series against the Mariners, including recapping their disaster of a 9-2 loss last night. We made our predictions. We're predicting Sodi's going yard, and we are back in this team. We do feel that the continued trend will appear, and the A's will defend their home park and take these final two to win the series against the Mariners. We will be back behind the mic for Friday's show, as we will preview their next series as the A's homestand continues, as they welcome in the New York Yankees starting Friday night. We'll break down the starting pitching matchups, game times. We'll make our predictions, all of that fun stuff. We'll also recap what goes down in the Seattle Mariners series. We'll probably have an update on when Gage Jump will be officially deployed and any other A's news that goes down from between now and Friday's show. That's all we have for you. Once again, I'm your host, Joe Grado. Thank you for tuning in today. We appreciate your support. We are passionate at talking about these A's, and we can't wait to be back behind the mic for Friday's show. And as a friendly reminder, don't forget, tune in tomorrow. We are going to have an audio special. It's going to be a short special that we are going to play the sounds of our interviews with all 5 A's players. Again, we had the opportunity to speak and meet with Hogan Harris, Luis Medina, Luis Severino, Zach Geloff, and the Big Amish, Nick Kurtz. Hope you enjoy that. We'll be posting on our social media sites and our YouTube channel as well. Take care, everyone. Have a great week. Enjoy the A's baseball. And until we see you for Friday's show, holy Toledo, let's go A's.